Hello there.
Good
How are we
evening.
doing?
I'm very good, mate. How are you doing at the moment?
I am good, thank you, apart from being too hot, to be honest. Way too hot. How is it in Cardiff, actually? Is it?
It's been wet. It's been wet and
Huh.
horrible. My dog is soaking.
It does look like it's just starting to rain here, actually, but it's so muggy and warm.
Yeah,
It was lovely earlier, though, in the sun. Don't get me wrong.
yeah. No, it's been throwing it down all afternoon, and yeah, I've been stuck in watching it from the office. So.
Better that way than it being nice and sunny outside, and then you have to.
Well, that's also true. But if it's sunny outside, I can go and sit outside. I have a laptop.
Yeah. True. Good. I mean, we're not here to talk about weather anyway.
No.
We are here to do ToolUp Tuesday. So this is number 8.
Really?
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. I thought that as well. I was like, oh, it feels like it's been none, but also gone on forever at the same time in a good way. You know?
I won't take that personally.
No. It's meant entirely positively. So maybe just as a recap for anyone who is tuning in for the first time or maybe not the first time, hasn't been with us for a few times. We're building a game in theory. We may not ever build the game, but anyway. We're doing it for learning purposes. We're building a microservice-based system. And what we did last time is we started joining a couple of our services together. So we've got an API where players can input their decisions, and we've got an API or an engine behind the scenes that basically computes the overall game state. So we managed to hook those two things up in a local environment. And I think today we're going to be looking at actually deploying that and doing something with it.
Plan. Yeah. Yeah, we've got some. I think last time we were able to prove that we could get things talking together.
Yes.
We could have them all running locally. We could have Dapper running. And we're using Dapper to basically give us that kind of state management piece so that we don't have to think about what technology too closely that we use for state management. Did we get as far as doing the service invocation with Dapper as well? I can't remember now.
No, we didn't. I think that was something we were going to leave for the first time here, actually. So I guess there's a couple of routes we can go down. We can do service invocation, and we can also do kind of Dockerizing, containerizing the apps that we've got, pushing those to a container registry, and setting up that kind of end-to-end workflow, I guess, around that.
Yeah. I feel some Bicep or some Terraform in our future, or some Pulumi. I'm happy either way. Or we just click things in the portal.
I would say let's kind of go piece by piece. So let's go Dockerize the apps that we've got first, get the containers up in a registry somewhere.
Okay.
And that one we can just kind of do click, done. And I think once we've done that, see how we're doing on time, and then we can decide how adventurous we want to be on the next bit then.
So at some point we're going to need a registry then, I would guess.
Yep, exactly.
I guess we could use.
I've got an MSTN. I can
get packages, couldn't we?
Could use that as well. Ooh, you know what? I never have used.
No,
I never have. I have never used GitHub packages actually for that. So let me bring up my screen.
Fun one, doesn't it?
It does. Purely on the basis that neither of us have ever tried it before.
I've done it briefly. I think for some of the exams, it was one of the topics that came up.
Gotcha.
In one of the learning paths.
Here we go.
For one of the GitHub exams.
So yeah, folks, for anyone who's kind of wondering what on earth we're on about, if we step back a sec, you may not know about containers already because this is the first time we're talking containers as well. Containers is a concept in IT and technology these days where you package your applications up in a different way. So rather than shipping the binaries and the kind of diff or the code changes, if you like, you ship effectively an image, an all-up kind of package, which is the kernel level, any frameworks it depends on, the application, and then ultimately you ship that entire thing as one package, hence the container idea, like you'd ship on a transporter, one big container, there might be items inside, it's a container, that kind of idea. To do that, though, you need something called an image. You need to store that image somewhere, like an Azure Container Registry, or GitHub Packages. And that's how we arrived here.
Mm-hmm. And the difference between, I guess, a container and an image and a just shipping, say, a zip file or an executable, is that historically you would create a package and you would have to manually install those on a different machine, and that machine was always different from the one you were developing on. So the whole jokes about, well, it works on my machine typically comes from this pattern of having a distinct difference between the hardware and the OS and the patch versions and the security patches that are running on the machine that you were developing on to what's in production.
Yep.
So the idea behind Docker and in fact container images in general is that you effectively ship a very, very lightweight OS, which is the same as the one that you were developing on.
Exactly.
Or the same as the package that you were testing against.
So then you get rid of the whole "it works on my machine" thing, you get consistency, and because of the fact you have that very lightweight OS kind of base, you're not relying on a guest OS like you're relying on a virtual machine, so they typically start up quicker as well. Yep. Better density, so you can have more instances on an individual machine as well. Tons of great benefits. But of course, like anything, when you introduce that new change, complexity comes in, some things have to change as a result, which is where things like Kubernetes come in to manage all of those containers. But anyway, we're not going down the Kubernetes rabbit hole today.
Yeah, let's start with the basics first.
So, I have absolutely zero idea on where we start with packages here, because when I clicked packages in Docker, it took me to my organization level.
Yep.
And I'm just looking at container registry here. So it does look like, yeah, it looks like it's almost at the org level here, but it sounds of it.
I suspect that's right, because I know you pay for the storage
at the organization level. Yeah.
Level, so yeah.
That's something I was just thinking, actually. I'm just gonna take a look. Just in a separate window off screen a sec. In terms of my limits, that will be okay. Let's see, billing and plans.
Yeah, I know, and it depends on how you're paying for it, or if it's just a free org.
Yeah, I just didn't want to show any of the kind of other orgs that I have access to or anything there. So,
I know using a free personal account, I hit a limit with my testing, because I was saving build artifacts from GitHub Actions, which were consuming the stuff and keeping them around. So it's a good practice actually if you're getting into GitHub Actions and you're playing around with just a local personal account, is to check the retention policies on your artifacts to make sure that you're not holding them around any longer than you need to. Particularly if you're generating build artifacts, because it will add up pretty quickly. You only have to run sort of 20, 30 runs of a pipeline with a never expiring retention policy on it.
Right. And yeah, this is the one I think you're on about, isn't it? The storage fractions and packages here. Yeah.
And it's not very much either, is it? It's
No, 0.5 gig. Yeah.
Which runs out pretty quickly I found out.
Indeed. But no, I know I have limits set on mine, so we're good to go. Plus, I think the images that we're talking here aren't huge either, so we should be okay, I would hope. A good reason for us to focus on optimizing for the size of the images.
Absolutely.
Right. So then let's think. So first off, I suppose we need to actually go and Dockerize our APIs.
Yep.
So let's see. I'm going to take a look at the Go one first, purely because I have a Docker file handy. And that is a nice, simple and easy one for us to start off with.
And when you've done that, I have a nice, easy to hand one for .NET.
There we go. Super. And this is why pair programming is great, because people have lots of different
inputs and ideas.
Exactly. and then we can go and have separate branches, go and work on things. Speaking of which, we should probably actually merge this Go web server.
Gonna suggest exactly the same thing. Yes,
Yeah.
it's been a bit of a bugbear from last time. So.
Do you know what? Then let me just do. Given this relates to the Go API, let me do this as the final change.
And then we'll merge you.
Okay. Exactly.
Out of interest, does VS Code have? So if you do press F1, does it give you a Docker file option? Oh, he's disappeared off again. Let me share mine instead. Let me bring mine up, and then add to the stream, so I can do mine here. Are we back again? You want to take back over? Because
yes, let me share again. It's the third time in about 20 minutes that's happened.
But it's good proof, though, that I now have the power.
There we go, indeed. There we go.
8 episodes in, and I can finally start adding my stream back, or my game back into the stream.
So what I heard, and it was a great cliffhanger, was what happens if you press F1 and then it went silent?
Well, so I'm curious as to whether or not there's support in VS Code for generating the Docker files. Maybe not. Whether or not there was a...
That's okay, because I got one here. There we go.
I suppose they're pretty standard, aren't they?
Let's see. Nope, that is my .NET one, actually. Let me go and find the actual one, because I'm looking at the wrong project. Pull that down. Let's try this one. There we go. Better. Okay.
Apparently, if you've got the Docker extension for VS Code, you can do Control-Shift-P, and then it does an add Docker files to workspace.
That would be why it's not installed in my WSL.
Ah, there we go. You probably want that anyway because it gives you the IntelliSense for the files.
It's on its way. Right. So let me just close that down. Yeah. So what we've got here, folks, is something called a Docker file. This is basically our recipe of creating a Docker image. So remember that kind of cookie cutter of that application that we talked about earlier? So to make those different instances, this is the recipe to make that cookie cutter effectively. Yep. So what we're saying is we'll start with this base image, which is publicly available as build. Alpine is a bit of a, I guess, common term in the Docker space where it's like a very lightweight image in essence. What I'm saying then is I'm going to set my working directory to the source folder. I'm going to copy then the go.mod and the go.sum items. I'm just going to run go mods download. So download the latest version of all my dependencies, copy the remaining files to my source directory. Then I need to change this line to actually build. So all I'm going to do is just change to do that, I think.
Now, the thing I found out interesting recently, which I suppose I'd known a little bit, but it had never properly clicked, is the reason why you have separate lines for the copying the go mod, the go.sum, and then copying everything else.
Because it's a different image layer?
Yeah, so every line that you have in that Docker file is effectively building effectively an image layer that can be cached.
Yep.
So by doing the copying the go mod and the go sum, you can then run the go mod download basically to bring in your dependencies. And then if there have been no changes to the dependencies, it doesn't need to reload those again when you rerun it. So it's effectively created this cached layer of your dependencies. It's super important if you're doing things with like npm and node, where those dependencies might be massive, and
True.
It needs to build that kind of massive tree of files. But yeah, it was just something it clicked the other day, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
It did raise an interesting question, though, what you just said. Actually, I love playing devil's advocate, you know me, and trying to think how I can break things. If I've got a go.mod and a go.sum, think about this now before I say it. Yeah, if I've got a go.mod and a go.sum file, so then my mod file is effectively... Actually, scratch what I was going to say. I think it's already proven against because it's got the explicit versions in here.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is what happens if there's a version bump, but
yeah,
it's handled. So anyway, moving on. So
can you even do that in Go? Can you just say, get me at minimum this version?
And this is what I was thinking. I think I need to do a bit more digging because what I've done in the past is kind of deleted things like the indirects and bump to version, for example.
Yeah.
Like you can see here, check for upgrades, upgrade transitive dependencies. This is just my
okay.
Go extension for VS Code doing this. But given we're using GitHub, that's where Dependabot could come into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And funny enough, actually, one of my other Go projects I'm working on, yesterday actually, I brought in 4 pull requests for different Go packages that got updated. Ran all my unit tests.
I've had there was a React project I did ages ago that it's now suddenly decided to light up and say, oh, these things have potential issues that you should deal with, and I haven't touched that project in so long that actually I'm now wondering whether or not it's probably worth just deleting it.
Yeah, gotcha. So just to complete the loop for anyone who's watching here, I build that actual application, and then we output that into the /app path. What then happens is we're doing something in this Docker file called a multi-stage build. So this is like an environment which isn't really optimized for production. This environment is more about my SDK environment or my development environment, effectively. But then we want to have a production environment which has a smaller surface. So whether that is from an attack perspective, from a image size perspective, many reasons why we want to do that. So what we can see is go on, mate.
I was going to say it's much more visible in things like .NET packages where the SDK package size is way bigger than the runtime size.
Still in Go though as well, I found. Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on which packages, of course, but also I think it was the base image I was using originally was quite big as well. Yeah. But yeah, all we do here is we pass in another base image, again, this small Alpine image. I just go and install the certificates then for the well-known CAs to make sure I don't break SSL encryption, things like that. Probably a good thing. Add a user just to make sure I'm not running as root. Copy the files. This is an interesting step. I can copy the files from that previously named step, so as build. So we're copying the /app output to the /app output in this container now. Just running a chmod to go and allow executable on that app path. And then we just need to make sure that we got the correct port here. So we're using 8080. So let me just change that to 8080. Run the application as the app user.
That's where these multi-stage Docker files, the multi-image Docker files, are super useful, because you can imagine it now as having this super lightweight OS, and then the only files from your application that are on there now, in fact, the only files, period, that are on there are the things that are needed to run that app, nothing else. So no supporting SDKs, literally just the runtime and your application.
Yep, exactly. So before I will commit, I'm just going to try. What have I done here? Am I in the right place? No, I'm not. That would be why. I'm very much not. Spacebar. Player decisions. Now let's try that. Here we go. So all I ran in the terminal was docker build and a dot, and the dot just signifies current directory. And it's now just going to go and try and build that image locally on my machine.
Excellent. And you can see some of the file sizes that are coming in for some of those layers.
Yes.
Like you've got 115 meg of a layer there. And yet the output image size will be, or should be, very small.
Should be indeed. So here we go. So you can see it has a repository and tag name of none. And that's because I didn't specify the -t flag, the tag flag effectively. And And so what we're going to kind of label that in a nice, friendly way. So I will do that when we actually come to pushing it a bit later.
And there are additional optimizations you can do on Go Docker images, aren't they, to make them even smaller? I think I've seen additional commands that you can run with Go to shrink it right down to, you're talking single figure megs rather than.
Yep, I'm sure. But yeah, even 43 meg though, like comparing it to that 220 meg one that I've got there, is nothing, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. So we know that works. So I am going to add initial file version. And then I am going to get asked for my GPG key, of course. Well, security is important. There we go. Right, and push that up. Cool.
I did wonder before we did that actually, whether or not it's worth updating the action.
Probably.
In that build.
Yes, probably.
We haven't.
No, we haven't got one. No.
Well, then there's another project.
Did you want to maybe for that bit, or?
We can try. Although you might have to help me with the Go one because, I suppose we're not even doing the Go one now. We're just doing the Docker.
Correct. Yeah.
Because we're not going to run tests. We're effectively just going to run. We're going to point it. So it actually should
be
a relatively simple thing.
I will. Let me pull from another project that I've got just to speed us up, because then we can maybe do the same on the .NET one then as well.
Yeah.
So, right. So I'm just gonna call this. This was player decisions, wasn't it? Player decisions API.yaml. Paste that in. And let's just call this player decision API.
Yep.
Put it on the main branch, and we'll do it on a path which is source/spacebar player decisions, and anything below that.
Yeah.
Same thing there. Right. I will leave those for the moment. They're just some variables we can reuse. Tests we'll get rid of just for the time being to avoid confusion. And we'll get rid of that depends on. There we go.
So if it happens on a push event to main.
Yep. Which I don't think we need anymore. I think the only reason I had that in there was because I didn't want it to trigger for my pull request in the other project. So for now...
Well, I think so. That kind of raises an interesting question about workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mentality is that you would want to do maybe the build to verify that everything could be created.
Yes.
But actually, and that would happen in any push. But then the push to a container registry should only happen in main.
How about this then?
That's the deploy. Yep. Apart from that's using. Yep.
In fact, I'm wondering what on earth this workflow was doing now, because I'm pushing multiple things. I need to go back and revisit that. Great, showing my poor of action workflows here. Okay. Oh no, I know what I'm doing. I had a build step over here which did push, so hold on. No, I'm conflating two things. Yeah. This is deploy to container apps. Let me get rid of that.
So let's just get it building first, and then because we don't know how we're going to get it to packages yet. So
true, yeah, true. So let me do this. Let me have that there. Copy all of this. Just run it again. Do that. And say deploy image.
Yep.
And then we'll get rid of that one there.
You don't need that one.
Permissions we don't need because that's how I was authenticating to Azure.
Yep.
Environment we won't need for now. Might need that. We'll leave that there for now. I don't need Swagger.
Yeah. Okay. No. You don't need Swagger. No. You're logging in via OIDC, which is all exciting.
Yeah. So in theory, all we want is that line, the Docker build line.
Yep.
Because we're only just going to build the image here.
Yep.
So I can just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then I'm just going to say that. It's my service location.
Yep.
And then that's the working directory. It will find the.
So you don't need the ACR endpoint on there yet.
True. Good. Yep, that's fair.
So you just need image name is the only one you need.
Yep. Oh, that looks good.
And you can pretty much comment out that deploy image right now because we're not going to be doing any of that yet.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Control K, Control C for anyone who doesn't know that. There.
And KU if you want to undo what the mistake you just made.
Yep, exactly. So let me go and add player decision API workflow. We'll go and push that up. We'll jump back to GitHub. Go to our ToolUp Tuesday repo. And we'll bring all of those changes in. Now, of course, normally we'd go ahead and make sure we've got a very nice descriptive pull request, but for sake of time on a stream, which is already flying by, we've done half an hour. Every time.
There's two versions of that ran immediately.
Yes, so one will always run immediately.
Because there was a push and then there was a pull request by the looks of it. Is that right?
I think it's when it first detects the file. There was always a strange one. And I think it was around the pull request scenario. Like if there's a pull request and it detects there's a new file, but it's not in main yet, it does something a little strange from memory.
I think what it is that we haven't got. Oh no, we have got path filters on the. We must have made changes to player state. The two actions that ran. One was for player state and one was for player decision. And
we probably did.
At some point in the mass collection of things we've just merged in was a.
Yep. There we go. Although I need to go back and fix that workflow. Something we didn't pick up in in the.
Oh, we didn't change the text.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, don't do this. Never edit in main. But let's just
get rid of those top two pretty much.
Yeah. Image name, and then we're going to go for what is this? This one is
spacebar / decisions, I guess. Or / decisions, yeah.
Yep.
Player decisions is probably.
Player decisions, yeah. Cool. And this is why, as well, by the way, it's a nice thing to use your environment variables, just like you would in your program, to find them once, reuse them throughout the workflow. I don't have to go changing loads of image names throughout. I've just changed it once and it's updated it nice and cleanly for us then.
Make sure that's running again. Not seeing that action kick off again.
Which would make sense because it's not in that
Yes, because we
subfolder.
haven't added the path to the.
Correct. But that's okay. We can. I'm just trying to think what we need to do next.
Right. So let's try and let's do an experiment to try and get that into packages, shall we?
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
So we are on the main branch now, aren't we?
We are, yes.
Switch back to main and then pull my changes through.
Cool. I will switch over to yourself.
Yes. Let's see if we can figure this out. Right. Working with the container registry is the thing we're going to need.
Seems like a good place.
Yep. So. We are going to want to log in.
Yeah, so before we do, let's just read that big red box up there, because interestingly, I think the default GitHub token might not work here. Let's just see. So let's get container registry.
Oh, you mean the standard one that you get? The
yeah. So if you look at the heading just at the top there, authenticating to the container registry.
Yeah.
And then that first paragraph.
Yep. We highly recommend you to use the GitHub token. So it implies that actually the GitHub token is the way to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out here.
Well, let's try it.
To authenticate the container. Sorry. My brain wasn't deciphering the difference between PAT and GitHub token there. It took me a few reads for some reason. I'm with you. Yes, GitHub token. Let's do it.
Yeah. So if you're doing that as an individual,
yeah,
like from a command line, you want to use a PAT token to do it.
Yeah,
if you're doing it from an action, then use the
GitHub
token because, in theory, it should. So let's go to here then, and we want player decisions. That's the one, isn't it?
Yep, that is it.
So we've done that, and we're going to create a new.
Literally the few lines below there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide whether or not it's easier to remove the stuff that we need there.
I think it probably is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we only want that to happen on push to main.
Yep, we don't need those permissions.
We don't need permissions. We don't need the environment. We need the microservice. We don't need the microservice. Like, oh yeah, we will because we need to build it again, won't we?
Yep.
So let's just copy that. Shouldn't we move that up to a higher level?
Yeah, that would probably work for this example. Yep.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Simplify things.
Nice.
We want to do a checkout. We don't want to do Swagger. We don't want to do generate Swagger. We don't want to do any of that. So we want to do a, and now from that article, it was, do we need to do a Docker login?
So that's for the PAT scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we can just...
Let's have a quick look. So let's go GitHub Actions, GitHub Packages, Actions. Try one of those. Is that the one I was on? No. Billing, publishing a package. Is that where I was before?
So you should be able to use the Docker/log action. That's one way.
Yeah, so we should do that. But are we passing it in the GitHub token then? So I should be able to do Docker login. And then it would be, what was that on that page before? So it's the ghcr.io
What is the
no,
username is the question.
Yeah.
If you scroll up.
Let's just have a look at this one. GitHub token, authenticating with a GitHub token. Try that one. Using the GitHub token in a workflow.
And hello to you, Mr. Johnny Chips. Hope you are doing well, sir.
Evening, John.
Right. So you can use the... Right, let me send you a link I'm looking at. I'll just send it in the...
And whilst John's on board, just a quick reminder, it's the Welsh Azure user group tomorrow night. We've got some good talks coming up tomorrow night, so yeah.
And then Azure Thames Valley is on Thursday.
Yep.
It's a good week for me.
That ends this social minute.
There we go. Just sent you a link there, mate. There is a good section publishing images to GitHub packages. And in there it says registry must be set to ghcr.io, which
I think we have.
Is one. Yeah. And then username, it says you can actually use the $ curly bracket github.actor. So a bit further down, because I think that's the... There you go, further down, that's the one.
Publishing to GitHub packages.
So they pass in github.actor there, a few lines up.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah. So whoever's kind of called it. It's an interesting way of doing it, but...
Okay, so we can just use that one straight. So they're just doing it using the straight Docker login action.
Yep.
Well, let's do that then, shall we? So that would be just there, rejiggle that. So we would need a registry.
Yeah, what is the registry in this instance?
I think that's the GitHub CR. It's a fixed one, isn't it? Yes, it's this.
So is it going to be cloud with... Oh, it is just GH. Oh.
Yeah. So it knows, the GitHub action knows which organization your action is running under, and it just assumes that.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So GitHub actor, env registry, and then it should just be a case of just doing a Docker build and a Docker push then, shouldn't it?
In theory.
There's no registry, actor token. So there should be just that. And then we're going to tag it with the... How do I get the registry name?
Doing well, Mr. Chips. Thank you, and hope the same on your side. Hope you're all geared and ready for Welsh Azure tomorrow evening.
Absolutely. So I can just do env.registry. There we go. So where we were previously using NCR endpoint, we can now do env.registry. The image name.
All makes sense. Yeah, that doesn't change.
Somewhere. Jar to give it a unique version there.
Yeah, we did update that. Yeah, good.
There we go. And I am committing directly to main, but I'm going to add.
Yep.
Otherwise, this won't work. Copy relative path. Should do that. Change it because I'm on Windows at the moment. Like that. That should be right.
Looks good. And again, please don't ever commit into main for real.
Added GitHub packages. Push to decisions API. And then if all's going well, we should in our actions, one of those didn't to put a needs in. So we've now got two things running in parallel, which is really annoying because it's failed anyway.
Handshake failure, interesting. Ah. Yeah, it didn't like the ghrc.io.
Let's just quickly add in that.
I'm just going to look up that Docker login action.
Did I spell it right? It's ever so possible I haven't actually put it in right. ghcr.io. I put ghrc. That would do it.
Oh, did you? That would do it.
Packages, repo, typo. And I should now have a dependency line there as well. Yes. Not that it makes that much difference. In fact, actually, because we're doing the build in both paces now, you could probably only do the deploy step if it's main, and then only do the other one if it's not main.
Yep. That'd be a nice little optimization.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking at the README file. In fact, I can probably talk. Looking at the README file here for the action, and yeah, it is quite literally just that hard-coded registry value there. So should be fine.
And actually, whilst you've got your screen up, then you should see eventually that package appear in your org somewhere.
Let's see.
It's finished. The build is done. It's just doing its deploy step now.
Now, my logic would be, I would see it if we go to Cloud with Chris, packages, and I'd see something in here would be my logic.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, that's positive. Managed to log in. You can see it logged in as you as well, which is quite cool.
Ah, that's interesting. That's good.
Yep. So nice from a traceability perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. Denied the requested.
Now what's failed?
Denied the requested we need to update the image name. We need a Cloud with Chris in there, I think. Because it's trying to push it to a random spacebar org.
Is that right? So interestingly,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it needs the. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it needs the repository name. So in the example they have in that document, if you switch back to me a minute.
Yep.
That's the right one. So they're doing this label that they're producing. Right. They're using this end image name, and every image name is then an alias for the GitHub repository. So if we went on to there and then stuck that, well, I could do it one of two ways really. I could either append it there, or I could just append it to that line. So you end up with almost like that, don't you?
I would do it in the line above because you'd be duplicating it anyway.
So like that one.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, let's give that a go. Which I'm hoping it works with the additional slashes in there. And it isn't just looking for like the repo name. Because if it's looking...
just stick an if on that build step so we're not building the image twice.
Yeah. Good idea.
So if it's basically a push, but it's not equal to that, isn't it?
Exactly. Oh, but now your needs build image won't work. Line 38. Otherwise, that criteria will never get fulfilled.
Oh.
So you need to remove line 38.
How do you do that? That's an interesting one. How do you handle a conditional?
You would need to. This is where you just need to think about what the logical order of stages is going to be.
Can you just humour me a minute? Can I just try to see what happens actually in the? Because I'm not sure what would happen in the UI on that one.
I do it, and let's see if I'm right. What I believe will happen is you'll get like a grey box type option saying effectively that deploy image step won't execute, it'll be skipped or be pending because that other one can't be fulfilled. Exactly. There we go.
Oh, right, okay. I was curious to see what the UI would do in that stage.
Yep, because you got build image is skipped, and because the build image is skipped, the needs property is not fulfilled, so it skips that second one then as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you need to do is just remove line 38. No. If you keep that one in,
well,
because then you've got an alternating.
Yeah,
one or
but
the
you
other.
still want to have the option to have. Oh,
Agree.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But-
No, I get you. Yeah.
Because then if you're in a pull request, you're always going to get that build. But then if you're in the main, you'll get the build and the push then. And that's where, depending on what exactly I'm doing, I'd probably have the stage consistent throughout the different workflows, but the step I'd have the if condition on. So then it's the individual step that either gets missed or not.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Which is what I do on this other project I've been working on. Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
What didn't you like about that one? Because that failed really quickly.
It must be lowercase. Okay.
What? It's the only example.
No, it's not about my repository name. So if you jump back to your screen there.
The build step.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that it's. But I would have thought because it's pulling it straight from the GitHub repository. Because I'm pulling the GitHub repository name.
That it would do whatever you need it to do.
Yeah.
There's got to be a function for like to lowercase or something.
Yeah. Right. To Google. GitHub and to lower. Additional functions. Change string actions to lower. No. GitHub expression functions. One of these sounds good.
So it looks like.
Oh, there might just be a straight lowercase.
No, it's not. That's what they're asking for. I'm on the same. Just a bit longer down, a bit further down behind. Wow, words. A bit further down than you.
Right.
What they seem to do is some kind of workaround to write the definition to an environment variable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hard code your
Do
repository.
it for now. Yeah, do it.
So what are we expecting? So that's what it was seeing, was that.
Oh, hold on. Hold the line caller. Take a look at that link I just sent.
Oh, it's opened the wrong window. Never mind.
Oh, and you know what? It might actually be. Try humour me for a moment before opening that link.
Right.
Humour me.
Okay. Link.
Go back to VS Code and that login step and all those steps there in the deploy.
Yeah.
Let's update the docker/logger-action version.
Okay. Is there a bug?
I think it may have been a limitation in the older version.
Right, so that was the thing you sent through.
Yeah. So if you put at v2.0.0,
Is that the latest version, is it?
yeah.
So at v2.0.0.
Yep, that's it.
Let me try again.
I'm just curious, more than anything. Because it might just go, nope, sorry. This might just be a Docker thing, to be fair, as well. Because remember, we're using the direct Docker command line. Yeah.
Like that.
So let's try using the Docker action instead. Because maybe the action will have some logic in it to go and deal with that. So better with.
So that was the direct Docker login action.
No, but I mean for the build and push.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
this
yeah, I've got it
action.
on the screen actually. It's here. It is in one of these somewhere. I'm officially at a 15 tab problem. There we go. That's the one you want, isn't it? Build and push
This is
action.
the one.
But they're doing an extract metadata. What's that one doing?
I think that's the metadata of like who built it, etc., and tagging that against the image.
But it's then being used in the next stage. You see, that's the only thing I'm.
Yeah, exactly, for the labels for the build push.
So do I need both of those then?
Yeah. Looks like it. What my suspicion is that it's just adding some information like who pushed the image. We'll soon see.
Yeah. Boom. And then boom.
Let's see.
Now we should have. And do those want to be v2.0?
So metadata is v4.0.1. And the build push action is v3.0.0.
0.0.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
So then we're grabbing the registry and the image name. So the registry is that one. Image name is now that one.
Which we have earlier in the thing as well. So you
Yeah.
can just copy like line 65 or something. Or that, yep.
Yeah.
Because you need the SHA as well.
I was going to say, yeah, do I want to stick the SHA on it as well? Try that.
Give it a go. We should say we're very much in experimentation territory, I think, at this stage, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the reasons. So I know I will be accused of being a bit of an Azure fanboy, but the Azure Container Registry is one of the things I love about it is their build step. Is this thing where you can basically send the code over to it and it does a remote build and then it tags it and then it uploads it into that registry for you in a single command line.
It failed.
It's super useful.
Why I particularly like that Docker build, by the way, ACR build, is because if I'm building on my Mac, which is an M1 ARM based system, I can build, other architectures, but I don't have to worry about that using ACR build. It just does it for me, which is nice.
That's interesting. Interestingly, it tries to tag it with main. So even though we've stuck the SHA on it...
So we'll need to... I bet there's a flag on the build and push that we just need to turn off. Let me just find it here. Oh, steps, tags, there you go, tags :
If I just get rid of that...
And let me just check what that... The YAML definition for the tags to see if it's required. No, false. give it a go.
No, it doesn't like that at all. Tag is needed when pushing to registry.
So then all we need to do is put the SHA there instead.
And that one instead, yeah. So if we X that one, link that one there. Try again. I don't know who it was you were joking with this week about, that a CI/CD build is as successful when it actually works after its 60th build.
Yeah, so they said something like, it worked on a 64th build. And I responded something like, oh, that quickly.
Yeah. But that's partly why you do this, though, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's much easier to go through this pain now and then have a repeatable process afterwards. Right, do we need to give it a working directory for that file, I wonder?
Yes, we will, because it's trying to do it from the main now. But you can't do so context is going to be that folder, isn't it?
That
957.
one. If
Yeah.
I just give it that.
Yeah, exactly.
That one there.
That's it.
Dated. Back. That's looking a bit better.
There we go.
Doing the things now.
Let's see if it actually pushes to the registry. It looks like it's building.
Yeah.
Will it push?
There's a game show in that, I'm sure. Will it build?
I was thinking of another well-known YouTube or video series
Yes,
where certain things go into a certain kitchen
yes, absolutely.
device.
Requested access to, so it's pushing it to. What's the? Let's see if it's got the tag number that it's trying to. There's the command. So build. Wish the page file player decisions. Image URL is that. Software info. Right, let's have a look what's actually being generated there. Any ideas, mate?
I genuinely wonder if I just touch the file, is this a Matt isn't an organization owner thing?
Oh, could be.
So I'm just going to make a dummy change. Source, player decisions.
I'll sit and watch that.
Main.
So what you should see now is that is being flagged as you, I would think, somewhere.
Yep, in the Docker login step above.
Oh yeah, there we go.
But this
No.
time I didn't like it either.
Still failed.
Was it the same?
No, that actually failed to build. Did you add an illegal character in?
I added a comment as the first line. Oh, I added a hashtag, not a double quote. What an idiot. I broke the build. Oh, it's too late. I will fix my poor change. My brain was still wired for YAML, not for Go.
Well, at least you took the file.
I did. Comments. No. 572nd time lucky. Right. Oh, build and push. Okay. Oh. Requested access is denied again.
Right. What are we doing wrong then? Let's have a look. So we are. Sure, I've got the latest version. We're logging in using the GitHub token.
Try. So if you go to the job, Stack Overflow page, which I should have thought of, we haven't set the permissions for the GitHub token to write the packages. So in the link I just sent you, you'll just need a permissions packages write.
Yes, you are right. That's the one we want. Hang on a minute, I'll just grab that on the other screen. So that goes up. It's in that job.
Yeah. So that's it.
About there-ish.
Yep, exactly.
Like that.
That's it. And it also says, first of all, ensure that the package settings, bottom right of the package page, allow access to actions running in the repository in question. So apparently, on the reverse, I need to do the same. I'm not sure if that still holds true, though.
So the interesting thing about that link you sent through,
yeah,
is they've got a much simpler way of doing the push. So they're not doing any of this metadata build.
Yeah, I think the metadata is only for like getting which user built that image, for example.
Yeah. Okay. So let's stick with what we've got.
Yep. Let's just see.
Right, shall we?
Yeah, yeah. I can't see anything else that I need to do package-wise, by the way.
Why not sync up first? Naughty, naughty. Should I? This is the other advantage of starting with the Go, because the Docker build for Go is notoriously a lot faster than almost every other language.
Yes. And I've just, on the packages side, just enabled public and internal package creation as well. So
okay,
just in case just in case it blocked it for whatever reason. I've just kind of turned everything on for the time.
Although, in fairness, we should probably have done one at a time so we knew which one it was that was causing the problem.
We could always go back and try that. Said every project ever, although it's still failed.
Because it's failed again. So
same issue.
I wonder whether or not I'm going to go back and just simplify that.
Yeah, do
build because I think we've got a whole set of weird additional dependencies in there. So
sounds good.
All we need to do, so my registry will be there. I'm going to now comment out that lot, which we can delete at a later date. Replace that with a very simple build and push. So it's going to push, and then we're going to push it to image name, isn't it? So it's repository image, registry image name is that one, basically, like that. Because I'm wondering whether or not, because we're sticking the shower in there. Because if you look there, that's the tag.
Plus, we don't have the ghcr.io in there as well.
Yeah, so it has that, and it has the repository, and it has the shower.
I think it may have been trying to push to Docker Hub, you know?
Yeah, I tend to agree. So let's shall we? Which way should we go? Shall I go and fix ours? Let's go and try that, shall we?
Yeah, let's try fix ours first, just see if we get anywhere. If our suspicion is right.
Yeah. Okay. See.
That's Chance Saloon, and then we'll default it out of the way.
So
you don't need the last one, do you?
Then. Oh, we don't need the last one, do we? So that we're gonna have that. Does that look right?
I think so. It feels strange, but
I mean, that would make sense, because when you tag an image, if you were doing this manually from the command line, if you want to push to any container registry, the first thing you do is tag it with the full path.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm now wondering, what is that previous action doing? But
yeah, apart from what it looks like it's adding so it's grabbing these labels now.
Yeah.
So whatever those labels that have been applied to that image.
I'm just wondering why you need the with images aspect.
I think we could get away with getting rid of that line.
Oh yeah, you could.
And then getting rid of that entire action.
You could. Fully agree.
Come on, this is the winner. No. Stupid thing. Oh, now we're back to uppercase, lowercase again.
Oh.
Repository name must be lowercase.
Which is because it's only detecting that because of us now being on ghcr.io before it was trying to go to Docker Hub.
Yeah.
So, I'd say let's hard code it for the time being.
I completely agree. So that is
fix that later.
To be. Let's just go and grab that from there. Stick that into there like that, and then it becomes T. Like that.
Yes, that looks good.
And it will become registry, which is the right thing.
Yep.
/ image name, and then the shower at the end.
Seems good.
Hard-coded repo name.
And yeah, there's no to lower or anything as a function. I'm looking through the expression right now.
I suppose, yeah, the way you do it would just be to have like a bash GitHub script.
And then just pipe that back out to an environment variable. Yeah.
Or just do like they've done with this and just return it from it.
Yeah.
So you return from an action and just use the output from one action in another. it logged in, and it logged in successfully.
It feels like it's taking longer. But is that
It's
just...
loading something. Ooh, ooh,
Oh.
ooh. We have a winner. Switch over
Right.
to yours, quick. Show me the packages.
And let's do that. There we go.
Yay! That's quite exciting.
17 issues? What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, I think it means issues like
I was going to say issues in the
and pull
project,
request. Yeah. I was like, hold on, what? Interesting. I think this is what that was referring to about, yeah, there we go. Manage actions access. So what other repositories can actually manage that action?
Right.
Manage that package, sorry.
That's interesting.
That's cool.
That's one. Yeah, that's good. Actually, that's the fact that I guess that's pulled out of the pull request that, or the sequence of commits that led up to that build.
Now, I guess an interesting question would be retention settings.
They'll be in your settings for org, I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking that either that or yeah, we'll be at the org. I will do that off screen. Did you want to start maybe on the Docker file for the .NET one?
Yep. Certainly can.
And I'll take a look at that in the background.
Right. Okay. So, which one are we going to do? Let's do. I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? When was that? Let's do the player state service because that's the one that our Go one needs to call, isn't it? I think from memory.
Yes.
So do that. Add Docker files to workspace. That's going to add it. Oh, look at this! It's going to build it for me. We want player state. Linux, we want, don't we?
Yep.
Let's just leave that. I can change that at a future date.
It doesn't need a port anyway, does it?
It doesn't need. And there we go. That's magically built what we wanted. Well, it
doesn't do a multi-stage, does it? Oh no, it does. Sorry.
Build. In fact, it's a multi-stage.
Yeah. Build, publish, and final.
Interesting. So it uses a separate layer for publish as well. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of determine why.
Yeah. It's certainly more complicated than the stock example.
But fair enough. We'll take it.
Well, then let's do the same thing you did then. So let's. If I do cd source slash spacebar player state docker build doc. Oh, it actually. Oh, that's messed up all the working directories now by the looks of it.
Oh.
So we want to have that in. When you did yours, did you create yours at the? So it assumes it's in that working directory.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just need to get rid of anything that looks like that, don't I? Just get rid of that. State. Try that one. What's up with that one now? Oh, yeah. I'm where I need to be. I just need to be at the root. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, we're not finding much on retention policies for container registry.
I thought they were in the
For GitHub Actions and artifacts from GitHub Actions, yes.
Oh, okay.
For packages, no. If I bring my screen up, you're thinking about this section in Actions.
Yeah.
And then the artifact and log retention. Because if you jump over to packages, it's just what can members create in terms of permission level.
That seems
deleted packages.
Unusual, because that will lead to some interesting challenges in an org if you can't control those.
Which I guess the argument would be, in theory, you wouldn't want them deleted after a certain retention period, probably, because they're hard dependencies. You'd manually do those, maybe?
Yeah.
I guess could be the argument.
What have I done wrong now? On the copy stage, is that one? What did I get rid of? I need to go to there.
By the way, I'm just going to share my screen again.
Okay.
This is what that step does.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. And also quite useful.
So there you go. Now you know.
Right, so I think I've got a build now, by the looks of it.
Nice.
The only thing I'm not sure about is what that port was we were running this on before.
I don't think it is. It's not an API, is it? It's just a...
yeah.
Oh, no, it is an API. Sorry, yeah.
Got an API in there, yeah. Let me just do a...
.NET run.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Oh.
So it will be, but it'll be there on HTTP.
No, is it not 5016?
Yeah, but it's only HTTP.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Which I suppose will be fine for now. We might have to figure out how to add the HTTPS certs into that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So that's been done. Get rid of that. So player state. Then I need to go into here. We're already doing a .NET build. We need to do. I'll just create a new one. Let's just copy what was in there. Can tidy this up as well at the same time.
Nice.
So I'm just going to do that to fit, isn't it? So in this case, I'll use the build step to just do the straightforward .NET build, because that's typically the way I would see it be done anyway. Is that you'd have something that was running the tests, doing a build and test without the Docker build.
Yep.
And then only when you need to deploy you. So I just need some environment variables in there from the other one. Which would be those. I need to modify that one as well. So I'm only doing this one on push. State guy. That's going to be player state. That's going to be player state. I don't think I've got anything else hard coded in there. Nope. Excellent. In fact, we probably ought to change that one as well.
Yeah.
Just so we're not duplicating stuff.
Nice.
And if all goes well,
Famous last words.
actions for player state. And then optimistically, I'm going to have 2 builds that kick off now. That's that one. I just need to give it a name, actually. It doesn't have a nice, friendly name. We're doing them in parallel. Oh, sure, I have needs in there. Never mind. These builds.
I'm glad the decision API kicked off as well, because I'm curious about whether that will help me delete a version. Right, so that one completed. So I'm going to check that out. And the other one pushed as well.
Excellent. So I'm just going to add a name to this.
If I share my screen.
Yep.
See on the right hand side there, packages. We've got
Excellent.
player decisions, player state. If I look at player decisions a sec, this is what I'm curious on. We can see we've got these different image versions here. If I click on that to manage that, can I easily delete? There we go, okay. So when you've got multiple versions, you can delete a version. But this does look like a manual step that you need to go and it's going to be intern, permanently delete the version. Yeah. Okay, so now I've only got the latest version there now. Which, thinking about it, does make sense. There's no retention period, because if you've got like an older version of dependency that people were depending on for an actual library, you wouldn't want that to just disappear. So it does make sense.
You could argue that we need to have have a latest version on there as well. So we need to have an additional latest tag.
Yeah.
So that actually we've got a specific version and a most recent build.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But all seems to work.
Yeah, I'm just pushing through. I've just added a name to the build, the other action.
So one thing I'm just interested in, let's just go see. The way I've come into this package is from the repository on the packages item here. If I go to my org packages, it's still under the context of the repo, which is interesting.
Okay. Which makes sense, I guess, because you're asked to provide that repo name.
Exactly.
And I guess if you exclude the ToolUp Tuesday from it, you would be able to allocate a package in theory to
an organization. Yeah. That makes sense. That would make sense, yeah. Oh.
Well, I think
that's interesting, though. Published 40 minutes ago by Cloud with Chris. I guess it makes sense it was published by the organization.
Yeah, by the action.
Yeah, the owner of the organization. Yeah. Because then you would go start tracing back and going, okay, well, this is obviously relating to a SHA ID.
Yep.
No, was that the same SHA?
So out of interest now.
Oh no, because obviously you push to player state. Yeah,
Out of
in this one.
interest, in that the definition of that build push action, how would I specify multiple tags on there now? I'm curious to try and add a latest one on.
On this one,
Yeah, can you?
I suspect you could probably do the pipe and then the multi-line.
Yeah.
Uh,
Look, you did actually give me that file somewhere. Yeah, it looks like you might be able to do pipe a list of tags. Can you do that then?
yeah, list of tags, list or CSV.
Yeah. So
How do you pass in the list?
I reckon.
Oh, here we go. List type is a new line to limited string, just like exactly like I said. Pipe, then break them on a new line like this.
Oh, okay. Or you can do a comma separated. There you go. At the bottom.
Exactly. Yep.
So in theory, then we switch back to me quickly.
Yes.
If we were to do that, and then change that one to latest, we should end up with both versions there, shouldn't we?
Agreed. And what Docker should realize, or I guess GitHub Container Registry should realize, is they're not two separate images. They're just two pointers to the same
image.
char image layer version.
Yeah. Although when the next one goes in, they'll you still end up with multiples in there, but
yeah. Which I think once we've got that sorted, that'll be a nice place to kind of wrap up, because next time we'll jump straight into container apps.
Yeah.
And go from there, I think.
So we've just got one other one to build then, I guess, which is just a copy and paste from the previous one.
Yeah. And remind me, what was that one? Did we decide if we were going to keep that one in the end?
I can't remember. So that was the World Events engine. So that was the thing that was going to run on the schedule.
Yep.
And basically apply a new set of state changes, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think we were still undecided.
I think we were too.
So
I think what we ended up was we were going to have the player engine effectively being the one which reconciles the player decisions, whereas the world's event engine is the kind of random, this thing happens, off you go. We should probably have a actual thing.
There we go.
There we go, nice.
Cool.
Nice. And that was on the player state, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess it's picked up latest as a common.
Yeah. So if we try and do the same thing on there, then. That one. Just so that we're consistent.
I'm just going over and cleaning up the older images.
And that should be super quick because the image should be cached largely, or the layers should be cached. Well, would they be? It would be a new agent, wouldn't it?
It would be a new agent, exactly.
It's one of those advantages of having like self-host runners or self-hosted build agents on Azure DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you can then have layers cached on the build agents.
Same with GitHub as well, of course.
Yeah,
Self
with the
hosted
runners as well. Yeah, which you can't do with the managed things, but
you can cache GitHub Actions.
and it'll save you valuable seconds on your build. There you go. You've got a latest tag. We've got a latest tag on both now.
Docker is not one of the things that you can cache by the looks of it. I just bring my screen up a sec.
Okay.
This is the action/cache GitHub action. You can cache a number of different things like NuGet packages, etc. But you cannot cache Docker images, which again makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose they're going to be fairly meaty, aren't they? So
yeah, that's it. Yes, but there we go. Good. So you've got the package all working there, latest as well. Nice.
Yeah.
And then if you want to click on that bottom layer there, yeah, exactly, the bottom version, that's it. Then what it will take you to is a table. Oh no, sorry. If you go back, I gave poor instructions. Click on the ... I think. Or view all tagged versions. Yeah. I'm still getting used to this UI. Now on the ... you can click there.
Those there, yeah.
Yeah. Do you see all the UI that I see? If you click on that name on the left there, the 60 blah blah blah.
No, I just that one.
Yeah.
No, I guess
I'm not. Do you see everything I see?
Because I think I'm not an admin on this org. So.
On the org, yeah. If I just show you. If I go to packages. Oh no, it was decisions, wasn't it? That new one. Chris, stop clicking the wrong things. Player decisions. So yeah, if I click on that one. Now, if you manage all versions.
Yeah.
Now I've got the 3 dots over here.
Yeah.
Because then I can just go and delete version.
Which makes sense.
Does make sense, but then it brings into question the whole like it being part of this repo but not. But
I suppose as an organisation owner, you want to have responsibility for managing the space that you're using.
So I've given access to that repo. Sorry, access to that team. I think you're in that team. Oh, but that's write access. Yeah.
But even then, would I be? Because that's to that repo, whereas if the packages are an org level, managed at an org level.
Yeah, and this is where it gets a little confusing in terms of the packages at the org level, but they're associated with the repo. Because that's just access. Package is currently public. Can change that visibility. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be an org owner or an org.
Which makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. If you jump to the org, packages.
Oh, it's gone again. Put my code back in it as well. Aha. Yeah, so it looks like I have a different set of permissions than Chris does. He's back again.
Yes, we're going so well.
We got through almost the whole thing. That's fine.
I know.
I can bring up my screen now. I'm all happy.
But no, it's interesting, this permissions thing. It makes sense, I think, at being the org level. I think I'd want to look at how you then look at permissions management of those packages, because it feels like there's something there that we'd want to set up in our fictitious scenario. You know, if we've got different teams, microservices, how they manage their specific versions rather than being an org owner.
And I wonder whether or not the cleanup of old packages is something you can do through another action.
Someone invented one in my research, is what I found.
Right. Okay.
By calling like the GitHub APIs and then doing it that way.
Yeah. I wonder whether you could do it that way.
Yeah.
But then you'd need a token with very specific permissions, like account level permissions or organization level permissions, I would imagine. But yeah.
That is it. That is it. Good. But no, I think we are...
It's a good place to leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is to...
He's gone again. He's back again. He's gone again. You there?
I am. Can you...
Yay! You froze briefly for a minute there.
Oh, that was weird, because I could still hear you all throughout, which is why I was like, yes, I'm here. What?
No.
Ah, bizarre.
Definitely heading back into that scenario again.
I know. No, what I was just going to say was 2 weeks' time, that will be after build as well.
Oh, that'd be exciting. So we might actually just spend some time talking about the news.
Probably. I suspect
there'll be a lot of interesting stuff coming out of it.
Yes, and if you're not already signed up, you should sign up, because I hear there's a familiar face you might see during the day as well. So
there is. Yes. Someone's on full presenting duty.
Yes, April Edwards. She'll be there. Exactly. Good. Well, pleasure as always, sir.
Flown by like it always does, mate.
Indeed. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. So thanks for tuning in, folks.
Okay.
See you in 2 weeks.